I think we'll go ahead and start. This is the March 21st meeting of the Mira Mesa Community Planning Group. Why don't we'll start with non-agenda public comment. Is there any non-agenda public comment tonight? You raise your hand, or Becky?
Hi, good evening. My name is Becky Rapp, and I appreciate this opportunity to speak to you all tonight. I come here to just update you a little bit on what's going on with the marijuana ordinance that Councilmember Whitburn proposed to council. What he was suggesting is the removal of the 1,000-foot buffer from all local sensitive use restrictions. So what that means is that a marijuana outlet would be allowed to locate next door to playgrounds, libraries, churches, residential care facilities, and residences. This came as a shock to many of us and was not able to be vetted through the planning groups and then to the planning commission. He was going to present this proposal to CPC last month, but he did send out a memorandum. He said that in his memorandum, he's going to postpone this in order for a social equity component to come forward before council first. He said he wants to work together with stakeholders and community to create and implement a social equity program to support those individuals and communities most impacted by the prior criminalization of cannabis. This just allows us a little more time to vet the proposal. What is unfortunate, though, is that later down further in the memorandum, he states, we can look at expanding the limited zones where cannabis outlets are currently operate, expanding the cap of 4 outlets per council district, and providing walkable and bikeable access to residents. So ultimately, his goal is to raise, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but each district has 4 permits. And what he is looking to do is raise that cap to, we're not sure how high, but his goal is to make it within walkable and bikeable distance. So as a parent, as a public health educator and a youth mentor, I mean, I feel like this is extremely detrimental to our communities. And I just urge you to come and speak to the council, raising your concerns of how this would affect your community. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Becky. We do have a subcommittee that's working on that. That's waiting for him to come out with his next release.
Yeah.
Okay, Joe, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I do. Just comment on that. That's dangerous, but I want to give everybody a little bit of uplifting information. I was in Arizona Saturday and I bought gas for $4.25 a gallon.
Oh, wow.
And now we say woohoo to that.
Or should I
Right.
say, go hybrid, go electric?
All right, we'll move on to modifications of the agenda. The Tree Root Sign Program postponed to next month, so we'll drop that from the agenda. I don't see Colonel Bedell here yet, but I saw Kristen, so I think he'll be along.
Oh, here.
Oh, there he is.
On there,
Yes.
Jeff.
Hey, good evening, sir. Marty Bedell here.
Hi.
Oh,
Actually, I think so the next thing we would have on the agenda is approval of the minutes. But why don't we, as long as the Colonel is here, why don't we go ahead and invite you to introduce yourself?
Hey, good evening, everybody. Thanks a whole bunch for letting me join, and I'm looking forward to coming to an in-person as soon as we can make that happen. My name is Marty Bedell. I've been in command of the air station at Miramar since July, and I'd like to say the happiest Marine in the Marine Corps for getting this duty station and being able to live here in San Diego. I've spent the last 25 years serving in the Marine Corps, and about 10 of that was in Yuma, Arizona, flying Harriers. So I have driven to San Diego on many a happy Friday, and I have driven back to Yuma, very sad, on many a Sunday. So to finally be here is really literally a dream come true. For those of you that don't know, and I'm happy to take any questions or comments as we go or at the end here, but I know that you all are familiar with Miramar. You might even see the occasional aircraft flying around. We like to say every day is an air show here. Speaking of which, the air show is going to be back this year, September 23rd through the 25th. And after the 2-year hiatus, we are wanting it to be bigger and better than ever. For us, it's a really important opportunity to showcase your Marine Corps and your aircraft, which is how I look at it. So to be able to open our gates and let people come aboard and talk to pilots and see all the amazing facilities and most importantly, meet the Marines and sailors that fly and maintain the aircraft. I am super excited about that. And we're working really hard to get that where it needs to be by September. Miramar is home to the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing, currently commanded by Major General Gehring, who happened to be my commanding officer back when I was a lowly captain and he was a lowly lieutenant colonel. So we have a really good working relationship. And I think that is really exciting. We've got about 212 aircraft, about 10,000 Marines and sailors who live and work here. 548 homes aboard the air station and 3,186 barracks rooms. And then, as you all know, there are military communities throughout the San Diego area where folks live off base and then travel to work. I think the thing that I'm most excited about and that I didn't really appreciate before I got to Miramar is Miramar's reputation for being an innovation space, for having some really interesting things going on here and some really interesting connections with the local community, local businesses, and universities. There's an organization called the Southern California Tech Bridge that is creating some really interesting partnerships and linkages between businesses, think tanks, universities, and DoD entities that are allowing things like electric vehicle living lab activities. We've had some electric mobility studies, robotics things going on base. Verizon has established a 5G living lab. So we actually have 24 5G towers that are just now finishing install here aboard the installation, with the hope that we're going to have folks want to come here and try things out aboard the air station, supported by the 5G network and a robust 5G network here on base. As part of the air show, we're planning on having an innovation expo component to that, where in addition to the aircraft being kind of the hook to get people aboard, to be able to have folks showcase anything they want in terms of technology, or we're looking at sustainability, renewables. We're looking at a community grow garden aboard the air station, which you might not, when you think of the Marine Corps, the first thing that comes to your mind probably isn't community grow gardens, but we are taking a mind, body, spirit approach to this and want folks to be thinking about where food comes from and where the food waste goes. And we want to be in compliance with State Bill 1383 that requires composting. So we think that that's kind of an exciting growth area for us. If you've driven along Miramar Road, you've seen that we're pulling the aircraft from the old museum off of that space. We've got those under, we're taking care of those until such time as that museum is going to move up to Irvine, California. So we're happy that the collection is going to stay together, and that should be moving up to Irvine probably next summer or fall. I think that's mostly what I wanted to cover, and I'd be interested in taking any questions or comments.
So Joe, you have your hand up?
Yes, most of us in Mira Mesa support the Marines. We love you guys. We want to do anything we can to make sure that this air show comes off. We've been yelling and screaming at our representatives in Congress to make this happen, because if you don't have funding, then you can't do it. And you know, if there's anything we can do as a community to help you, please let Kristen know, because our community loves her for what she does for us and the Marines. And just one other thing, in case you have any in-flight emergencies, you can always dump fuel on where the ferry shrimp protection areas are.
All right, sir. Well, I appreciate that. I will probably not direct that to the pilot. The ferry shrimp are just now hatching. We have I'll use that as a little quick dovetail into, we have a robust environmental department, and we do a lot of care and feeding for the 14 flora and fauna that are endangered and call Miramar, both East and West Miramar, home. A funny little thing that happened last month, my environmental folks came and said, well, I don't know how you're going to look at this, but one of our endangered plants is flowering and has attracted a formerly not seen butterfly. So we've now got another endangered butterfly out in East Miramar. So I think that's a great thing. I'm glad the little guys have a place to go. So we are taking care and attempting to be good stewards of the flora and fauna that are out here.
No, we want you guys to take care of the ferry shrimp, so we don't really have to in our community. You guys do a much better job. So keep up the good work, and welcome aboard.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Keith.
Hey, real quick there, appreciate all the information. As a business representative of the area, I think it'd be great to put our technology on display there. We're into clean tech and reducing emissions for different types of operations. So if I wanted to get involved there, is it simply on your website, or what's the point of contact on that?
Yes, sir. The website for the air show and the announcement you're actually getting a sneak peek. We're gonna have that go live this coming Monday, the 28th, and there'll be information about vendors and how to get connected with the air show.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I've got one question for you. I know you change aircraft out from time to time. What do you have there now on the base?
Great question. I should have mentioned that. So we have right now the MV-22 Osprey, which is an assault support aircraft that can carry 20 Marines and cargo. We have the CH-53 Echo Super Stallion, which is a heavy lift helicopter. We have the F-18, and we have the F-35B and also the F-35C. So those are what you're going to see flying around for the most part. We also occasionally get aircraft down from Marine Corps Air Station Pendleton, where they have Ospreys, and they also have the Cobra attack helicopter and Huey utility helicopter. So that's what you're going to see on the flight line, both here and also up there. What's really exciting, the biggest thing that's going on right now, we just took took delivery. The training squadron, the second F-35 Joint Strike Fighter training squadron that the Marine Corps has, arrived here in December, and they are slowly getting up to speed. The F-18 is going to be phasing out over the next 6 or 7 years, and the F-18 training squadron that's based here will also be standing down in the next couple of years. So the legacy platforms, the F-18 and the AV-8B Harrier, the greatest aircraft to ever fly, and those two aircraft are on their way out and will be sundowning by the end of this decade. and the F-35 is here. 2 squadrons have arrived, and eventually there'll be a total of 6 squadrons in 3 very impressive modern hangars, one of which has been built, and the other 2 are going to be built over the next 6 years.
All right, great. Well, are there any other questions?
Yeah, one more, if you don't mind. I actually just one comment to on your base operations. I was outside today and at lunch, and I saw one of your takeoff patterns, and it looked like it was the F-35C. And as I was watching it fly out, go west, it just dawned on me how much quieter that takeoff is compared to when I go back to the Navy days, the F-14 days, when those things were screaming, and that plane just seems just so much more sleek and environmentally, I guess, sensitive. So anyways, the way they were flying it, the way they were operating it, it really was a dream to see. It was very nice to watch that.
Well, I certainly appreciate that perspective. When I ask you to repeat that in every blog, Twitter, public space that you possibly can, these things are darn near silent. As it's really, you got to cock your ear to hear them. There are a couple people out there that maybe are a little more sensitive to the noise. I do want you to know that we do a great deal of work trying to make sure, first of all, that our course rules are taking into account local communities. We have tried to figure out the profiles that are going to be the least impactful. And every single pilot that comes here who is not based here is allowed 1 landing, and then they have to get a course rules brief so that they know exactly where they're supposed to fly and how they're supposed to fly to minimize the noise impacts. And Mira Mesa being commercial and industrial, just on the north side there, I think that I don't know if we have noise complaints from Mira Mesa, come to think of it, but yeah, we're trying very hard to make sure that we're good neighbors. We're part of the community. We've got 17,000 dependents that go to school and live and work in the surrounding community. So we don't want to be separate from, we want to be part of. And part of that is if somebody is having issues with anything on the base, I would ask them to get a hold of me, and I'll see if I can't address it.
Great. All right, well, welcome to the community, and thank you very much for stopping by our meeting.
All right, sir. Thanks a lot. I look forward to meeting you all in person, and take care. And thanks a lot for letting me have an opportunity to say hi.
All right. We'll go on to adopting the previous meeting minutes. Were there any corrections to the minutes?
No,
Then I think what I'm going to do, just so we can get the roll, I'll have Tiffany call the roll and ask people for their approval.
It
Tiffany?
sounds good. Yep, sounds good. Good evening, everybody. Kent Lee, I did not see him on the list here, but Andrew, I did not see him either. Lilith,
I'm here.
do you approve the minutes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ian Kerman? Is Ian not here?
No, there were a
Nope.
few people that told me they couldn't make it tonight.
Okay. Craig Jackson,
I'm here and I approve.
thank you. Ralph? I did not see Ralph on the list either. John?
Approved.
Thank you. Joe?
Definitely approve.
Thank you. Barry, I didn't see Barry unless she
She's
joined.
doing taxes.
Oh, okay. Jeff, I'm assuming you approve.
Approve, yes.
Okay. Dorothy,
Here, approve.
thank you. Keith,
Approved.
thank you. Craig Radke,
Approve.
thank you. Julia Schreiber,
I approve.
thank you. Harkey, I think I did not see him join.
He said he couldn't come.
Okay. I approve. Marvin, I did not see Marvin either, unless he joined last minute. Justin Mendelbaum, I did not see Justin either. And then Mike Linton.
Yeah, I approve.
Great, thank you. All right.
Okay, minutes are approved.
Mhm.
All right, we'll go on to report of the chair. That was our only action item tonight, by the way, but I do have quite a few communications and mail. I guess as you all know, the community plan update was postponed another month, and we're still waiting for the impact reports that we asked for. On Alex for update in a little bit. Mail, Three Roots is proposing to name the new community park the Mira Mesa Bruce Brown Community Park, which I think is a wonderful idea. They'll be bringing that proposal to the next Recreation Advisory Committee meeting. Received the fourth review comments on the Flying T Community Plan Amendment. We do have a subcommittee that Craig Jackson's chairing that will be reviewing that. There are a few issues with that one. I'm not quite sure when it'll be coming back to us. On February 15th, the San Diego City Council approved a new annual cannabis operating permit fee of $20,802 per facility. The cannabis operating fee is due on July 1st of each year. The fees apply to each of the 66 conditional use permits, whether they are operational or not. The Development Services Department approved an application for a one-year extension of time to the previously approved conditional use permit to operate a cannabis production facility at 9212 Mira Mesa Court. Received a NORA for the Vista Sereno CDP, which is construction of a new 3-story, 116,000 square foot research and development building. We approved that back in October. Received a notice that an application has been filed with the City of San Diego for Process 3 Coastal Development Permit and Plan Development Permit for a lot line adjustments and demolition of a building at 5910 Pacific Center. Then I got a letter from a current tenant in that building objecting very strongly to the demolition of the building and saying that they have a long-term lease there. So I don't think that one's going to come here, but we'll let them work that out. Also got site development plans for a new building at 5665 Oberlin Drive. And a extension of time for a conditional use permit for a 40,000 square foot privately operated recreation facility at 8190 Miramar Drive. That's the location of Rock and Jump, so I presume that's what it is. Okay, we'll go on to Alex, community plan updates.
Thanks, Jeff. Good evening, everyone. This is my camera popping up. There we go. Use video. Apologies for the delay. The community discussion draft. So the internal review I submitted on March 1st to the planning department, disciplines, and also to other city agencies or departments such as development services. So they're reviewing it. They wanted extension. So hopefully the review should be wrapped up by end of March.
Okay.
Crossing fingers. It's really out of my control. But I keep bothering folks. So hopefully we'll get the review back soon. And then we should be able to release it to the committee with maps. What else? So I think that's the update. In terms of the impact assessment, the recreational values point assessment based on the park's master plan. So Jeff, I finally saw the first kind of draft assessment. So we should have that ready by the next meeting, at the April meeting. So that's looking good. The mobility tech report, the modeling result and analysis. So there's been some staffing turnover at sustainability and mobility department. So I don't know if it's going to be ready by April. I keep applying pressure to have that ready. And the school capacity assessment. So typically, that's through the EIR process, but still waiting to get that organized. Some more information forthcoming on that point.
All right. Send those out as soon as you're able to.
Understood.
All right. Thank you. Any questions for Alex? All right, we'll move on. Thank you, Alex. So all we have left for this meeting. Oh, by the way, Tiffany Justin Mandelbaum joined, so you can add him to the attendance.
I noted that, no problem. Thank you.
So we have elected officials. Who is here? Let's see. We have Amanda Berry for Supervisor Lawson Reamer.
She's muted.
My screen is all messed up. There we go. There's my mute button. Hi, everyone. Quick meeting this evening. Good to see you all. My name is Amanda Berry, she, her, and I am a policy advisor for Supervisor Lawson Reamer. And it's really great to see everybody. We all know that traffic's a big problem, right? We were talking about driving from Arizona before this meeting started, and the gas prices, we know it makes us late, it worsens climate change, it takes away from that time that we could be spending with family. So Supervisor Lawson Reamer is pretty excited to welcome a huge traffic improvement project, which is new carpool lanes on I-5. It's 9 miles of carpool lanes, northbound and southbound. They're open from Carlsbad all the way to Solana Beach. And these are a major incentive that really encourages folks to share a ride instead of driving alone. And they're a great change for anybody who's driving up to LA. And we're really not done. Construction began in October, and the next stretch of carpool lanes that will continue north from Palomar Airport Road to the 78. So the supervisor is really supportive of infrastructure projects like this that will continue to, and she'll continue to fight for projects that reduce pollution and increase our quality of life. On the subject of pollution, the county supervisors voted unanimously to advance climate action by prohibiting county investments in any corporation that engages in the exploration, production, drilling, refining of coal, petroleum, or natural gas. Supervisor Lawson Reamer believes that this action is an important step to align taxpayer investments with our values. And the vote ensures that the county's $13 billion investment pool is not supporting fossil fuel industries that profit from destroying our planet and mortgaging our future. Lastly, I want to share that funding is now available for nonprofits for the community enhancement ARPA funding. That funding is meant to support nonprofits that were impacted by COVID-19. And we're hosting a webinar on April 7th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's April 7th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, where we're going to have our county team go over all of the requirements and the application process for this funding. And we also still have money for the Neighborhood Reinvestment Program, which funds nonprofits and entities that have not been awarded that small stimulus grant for small businesses with less than 20 full-time equivalent employees. And you're all welcome to reach out to our office, or I can get you a one-on-one with our grant advisor. And I'll put more information about all of these things in the chat. See, Joe has a question.
Yeah, I have a comment basically. Years ago, we had a ballot measure where they voted to raise money to fix Highway 67, Highway 78, Highway 76. You talk about wasting money and polluting the atmosphere. I'm on Highway 67 almost every day. And in the morning going south and in the evening coming north or east or west, however you want to look at it, it's one lane. And it is just terrible. It's a dangerous highway. There's people that die on it all the time. And for this guy in Sandag to take the money away that was voted on to fix those roads, I really feel like, we should, well, I don't want to go there, but that is really wrong, that somebody can take away the vote of the people and sidetrack this money to put in little bullet trains or whatever he's working on that nobody's ever going to use because they're going to be way too expensive anyway. So we really need to get that money funded back to fix these 3 highways. Even Highway 52 is another one. It's really terrible what they're forcing these people to do, and the pollution from being bumper to bumper in the morning and in the evening is just atrocious.
Thanks, Joe. 67, 52 are your 2 main concerns.
Well, also 78 and 76. I mean, all of them, but 67 is really bad. I mean, there's people dying there all the time, and it's really a shame.
Thanks for sharing that. I'll pass it along to our folks that work on Sandag.
Craig Jackson.
Do you have any information about funding for the epicenter?
I don't have any new information. I think I shared last week that it's going to have to come through a budget change letter to the chief administrative officer during the budget process, which will happen in the spring.
So that implies that it will not be forthcoming at the same time as the, I think, 3.6 million.
Yes, it was not included in that initial CENA investment, but it does sound like it has support from the board and from others.
Yeah, I don't think it will delay it, will it? I think it's that money will be added to the other before it would have been used anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Any other questions? Okay, Denise.
Thanks for having me.
Good evening, everyone. Just a few things that's been happening at the City Council. Earlier this month, the San Diego City Council voted unanimously to discuss a draft of the ordinance establishing the Commission on Police Practices with the city's police union as part of the collective bargaining process. And then in 2020, San Diego voters passed the Measure B, which established the CPP. And so the new commission replaces the city's Community Review Board on Police Practices. And unlike its former, it will have subpoena power and more independence from the police department. And before the City Council can adopt an ordinance to implement the commission, state law requires that it allow the police union to review the impacts the policy will have on the police officers before it returns to the City Council for a second voting. And also the City Council heard the street vending ordinance item, which passed an 8-1 vote. This ordinance is to comply with the State Bill 946, and it set requirements and regulations and provide legal clarity for vendors who want to abide by the rules. And basically, vendors will need a business license and permit in order to operate at busy areas across San Diego. These places would include Balboa Park, Ocean Beach, Convention Center, Little Italy, Gaslamp Quarters, and so forth, areas that has heavy foot traffic. And this still needs to be signed by the mayor before implementation, but it is expected to take effect on June this year. And thirdly, there's also been evaluation for and potential appointment of the independent budget analyst position. That's also ongoing. And if there's also a submission of ballot proposals for the November 8th, 2022 ballot. And if you have any questions regarding that matter, you can go to the office of the city clerk on the city website, And you can also email them at cityclerk@sandiego.gov, or you can call the number at 619-533-4000. And lastly, the 2022 Select Committee on San Diego Housing, Commission Oversight and Reform Priorities. So Councilmember Kate has shared his goals and priorities for the 2022, for the year 2022 towards a more effective, efficient, accountable, and transparent housing committee. And also update on the Montongo Street fires that's been happening last week. Recent update is that the mayor's office and the appropriate city departments are going to have a meeting tomorrow to discuss prioritization and legal approach on how to address the homeless encampments in the canyons. And if there's any update after the meeting, I will send an email when new information comes available to the community group leaders. And lastly, business of the week. We have U Spa. It is a Korean style sauna, and it's also in Convoy. You can check out their website for sources or their services. And if you have a favorite restaurant, small business that you want to get featured, please send me an email on what the name of that business, and would like to feature them on our following business of the weeks. Also, the legislative recess starts from today until April 1st. So City Council will resume on April 4th and have their regular schedule back on that day. And I think that's it for the city.
Thank you, Denise. Are there any questions? This is your chance. They fix the potholes, you know. Okay, thank you very much. I saw Kristen here, Kristen Camper.
Yeah, hi, everybody. Apologies for my being a little casual. I've been recovering from shoulder surgery for the last month. So, but I did just want to add one thing. I know on top of what the Colonel had already mentioned, last week you may have noticed we were doing what we call random force protection measures. And basically, we're talking about security protocols. So that was what was going on last week, in case you were on Miramar Road or the I-15. We're not expecting anything else. Everything should be back to normal this week. But I did just want to mention that real quick and let you know, I'll know what was going on. And that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Any questions for Kristen? Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for bringing the Colonel by. That was good.
Absolutely. Thank you. Sorry we missed last month.
That's okay. Okay, I have Michaela couldn't be here, but she sent me a detailed report with some things in it that I need to relay. First, Sauk Park. As previously mentioned, bids were open on December 8th, but the selected bid was $1.5 million over the budget. So in order to proceed, the council has to improve using the bid account for the difference in cost. So that request passed at the Public Safety and Livable Neighborhoods Committee, and will be going to the City Council on April 5th, 2022. So it looks like that's moving along, but as always, later than we want. On Wangenheim, the site constructions started on February 14th. Now, we had thought that we were going to be able to use that site for 4th of July fireworks this year, but apparently today the mayor's office was notified that the contractor will not allow the 4th of July fireworks to take place there. So at this point, we don't necessarily have a place for that. Apparently they are looking at the California Proton site on Summer Ridge Road. That's in the Fenton Business Park. It's basically a big parking lot in the Fenton Business Park, which is another place they could possibly be done. But it's been a big problem to find a site for the fireworks now that we can't do them at the high school anymore. We thought we had that set for Wangenheim, but that's not going to work. And for Mira Mesa Community Park, the estimated date of submittal for the consultant to submit the construction documents is May 2022. The delay is due to the complexity of the preparation of the bid documents to address the current bidding climate and escalated construction costs. The bid package will provide for a base bid that includes the aquatic complex, public art, entry plaza, basketball courts, and stormwater improvement. The proposed additive alternates will address construction of the renovation of the rec center, children's play areas, lighting, ball field, all wheels plaza, and miscellaneous site modifications. So I'll have to ask what additive alternates means. Unless, Joe, you don't know what that means, do you?
I'm afraid to ask, but the thing about, renovating the recreation center there should not even be on there. That's got to come in a whole different bid package to do that. Should not even be associated with that bid. They're just delaying every day they delay this, it's more money it's costing us. It's really, we got to fast track this thing.
Yeah. For Carroll Canyon Road, the feasibility study, that should be complete by the end of the month. So cross fingers that comes out okay. Gold Coast and Parkdale Road reconstruction. The award is anticipated for May 2022 with estimated completion for June 2023. Three Roots Recreation Center, and this so anyway, she said for various reasons, it doesn't work well to have that paid for out of FBA funds. But there's a possibility that Stone Creek might be able to build that through a development agreement. So Patty, Mike, do you know about that? Have anything to say about it?
Jeff, I can share, we're actually working on our development agreement, but it is secure on-site park at Stone Creek. So ours is still, 10 to 15 years in the future before any residential development would occur.
Apparently she's been talking to someone about it. And I do like the idea. I wouldn't like it to be 10 to 15 years in the future, but if we can get that done as part of Stone Creek's development agreement, it's a more secure source of funding, I think, than the remains of the FBA is at this point. So let's follow up with Michaela and see if that'll work. So is this coming as a surprise to you? Came as a surprise to me, but.
Yeah, I don't know how it would connect to Stone Creek. I guess that's why, unless she intended to say there was a separate development agreement with the Three Roots folks, but it wouldn't tie. I don't know how it would tie to Stone Creek. So
it could just be a matter of shifting fees to do that.
Except that the fees for Stone Creek stay with Stone Creek for the park development on site. So I guess, Jeff, there is a potential for a small residual amount since there is no rec building at Stone Creek that could potentially, right. But again, it's so far in the future. I don't know how that would ever, make sense for their project, which is happening now.
Okay. Well, we do have a problem in building that recreation center. It's not the problem she thought it was, but the main problem is there's not enough money in the FBA to build both the recreation center and the Carroll Canyon Road extension. And given the cost overruns we're getting on SOC and on the community park, that's also eating into whatever remains in the FBA. It's possible the Carroll Canyon Road might get some state money or federal money in order to be able to build that. So that's another way to do that. But it doesn't look like there's enough money in the FBA at this point to do that. So at any rate, those are high priority problems at this point. We really need both those projects done.
Jeff, maybe we should apply for Biden's infrastructure project. I mean, that is an important thing. It's just as important as a damn bridge, so maybe we can get money from the federal government for it.
Yeah, actually, that is a possibility. At least for Carroll Canyon Road. I don't know if we could do the rec center, but that is one of the funding sources that could be available to do that.
We can just have some building overruns and then I use the overruns to fund the rec center. Well, the contractors do it all the time. Come on.
Just one more thing. She also mentioned the fires that have occurred on Montongo that have a lot of people concerned. She just asked that anyone who sees anything like that, if you actually witness a fire, call 911. And if you see homeless individuals down in that area, use or encampments used to get it done app for it. Okay, so are there any other elected officials that I missed? All right, are there any announcements tonight?
I have an announcement about the Mira Mesa Taste, the Taste of Mira Mesa on
Okay.
April 23rd. People don't know it's at the Vault. The Vault is where they store a lot of expensive cars. And, you know, Mira Mesa being one of the places where we now have $1 million houses. We probably have some cars over there at the Vault that are almost worth that much. So if you have an opportunity to get in and help our schools by supporting the Taste of Mira Mesa, you're going to be surprised at what you see.
Thank you, Joe. Yes, I've already bought my tickets and I encourage everyone else to. All right, CPC. We actually haven't had a meeting since our last planning group meeting because we're shifting our February meeting to Thursday. It was after the CPC meeting. But we do have a meeting tomorrow. The main items on the agenda are of the local clean energy program, which we've already seen here in this group. The Build Better San Diego plan, which I would encourage people to look up and see what it's going to do. That is, well, anyway, there are some issues with that. I would encourage people to look at it.
Excuse me,
And
can
then-
you repeat what meeting that is?
This is on the agenda for the CPC meeting is the program that's called Build Better San Diego.
Feel better.
Just Google that and you can find out about it. But basically, they're doing the same thing that they did with parks, where rather than having developer fees go into an individual community, it all goes down to a pot downtown, and then the politicians decide what to do with it. And then the last thing is Council Policy 600-24 on community planning groups and Council Policy 600-9 on the Community Planners Committee. As I think you know, there have been proposals to change the way that planning groups and CPC work. There are some issues with that also. I sent out to all planning group members the link to the council agenda on which this will be discussed within the next couple of days. And I would again encourage you to look at that. If anyone was off my mailing list and wants that, let me know and I'll forward it to them. Penasquitos Canyon, Pam is in Oregon, but Craig, I believe, went to the last meeting. Craig Radke.
Hello, yeah, I was there. Most of the meeting was about a letter the group is sending to the Mira Mesa City Council person, the Penasquitos City Council person, and the county supervisor, sort of reminding them that they are all part of a task force related to the preserve. And that this task force apparently was created in like 1977, but hasn't met since about 2012 for their estimates. So they were trying to get them to bring that task force back in action again and help the Penasquitos Canyon Preserve with some of the issues they have. One of the issues that was brought up in the meeting was the gold spotted oak borer. It is killing a lot of the trees there. The rep from the Friends of Penasquitos Canyon mentioned that the largest tree in the canyon is now dead from this. I don't know where that tree is exactly, but and a couple of the next largest trees are also infected. So it's been a big problem. A lot of money has been raised privately to help treat this, but no money from the city or the county. So that's one of the issues that would be nice if those parties would be interested in.
Right. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any other business tonight? In that case, we shall adjourn. Thank you all very much for coming.
Great job on a short meeting, Jeff.
Right.
Thank you.
No one complains about a short meetings.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.